Hey everyone, welcome back to Pages and Projects with Liz. October was a great reading month. I finished 13 books, all from my physical TBR. I tackled a few book of the month picks I'd been meaning to get to, and then shifted towards more fall and spooky season reads as the month went on. Let's go through them in the order I read them. I'll share a short synopsis first, and then my thoughts. The Compound by Aisling Rall, 3 stars, and a Book of the Month pick. Lily, a bored, beautiful 20-something, wakes up on a remote desert compound alongside 19 other contestants competing on a massively popular reality show. To win, she must outlast her housemates while performing challenges for luxury rewards like champagne and lipstick, and even basic necessities like food and a front door. The premise was really good, and I think I hyped it up a little too much in my head. It was fine, not bad, not great, just one of those middle-of-the-road reads where the idea hooked me a lot more than the execution. Still, I am glad to have read it. Next is Dirty Diana by Jen Besser, 2 stars, and also a Book of the Month book. Diana Wood has what looks like a perfect life, a job she likes, a husband she loves, and a daughter she adores, but her marriage has gone flat. When an old flame reappears, she starts interviewing women about their hidden desires and begins to question whether fine is really enough. I'd seen a lot of hype on this one also. You're going to see that as a trend for some of my books, and that's why I had picked it. But honestly, it just wasn't for me. I didn't connect with the story or the characters and really wasn't interested in where it was going. I won't be continuing the series. I didn't even know it was a series going into it. And I will also be unhauling this book. Next up is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, also a Book of the Month book, and 3 stars. For the synopsis, after her mother's death, Ophelia Grimm inherits her necromantic powers and crushing debt. To save her sister and their home, she enters Phantasma, a magical, deadly competition where the winner gets 1 wish and the rest often die trying. I was really excited for this one. I love dark competitions and gothic magic setups, but again, it didn't quite live up to what I had hoped. Some of the pacing and character motivations felt off, and I'm not a huge fan of insta-love, which is a big part of the story. It wasn't bad, just not one that stood out for me, or again, that I'd continue the series for. Next is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, and this one was 4 stars. Set in 1970s Florida, 15-year-old Neva, renamed Fern, is sent to Wellwood House, a maternity home for unwed girls. There, she and the others discover a witchcraft manual that may hold real power, and soon they're using magic to rebel against the cruel system that confines them. This was my first real fall vibes book of the month, and it completely delivered. It's weird, unsettling, and exactly what I expect from Grady Hendrix. A mix of horror, some social commentary, and just enough absurdity. Definitely a perfect spooky season pick. In the Company of Witches by Aurelie Wallace, also 4 stars. After the loss of her husband, Bryn Warren returns to her family's bed and breakfast in Evanfall, Connecticut, and to the aunts who raised her. When a difficult guest dies suddenly at the inn, suspicion falls on her Aunt Nora. To clear her name, Bryn must reconnect with her magical powers and the ghost she's long ignored. This one started slow, and honestly, I thought I might DNF it at first. Once it hit its stride, I ended up really liking it. It's got a cozy mystery feel with just the right amount of magic, and this is one that I actually plan to continue the series. Graveyard Shift by ML Rio, 3 stars. A group of late-night workers who meet in a graveyard for quiet camaraderie discover a fresh grave that wasn't there before. What starts as curiosity becomes an eerie exploration of secrets, violence, and guilt in a small college town. My main issue here is the same I have with a lot of short stories. I just wanted more. The pacing felt a little uneven, and it ended before I really got to sink into the world or characters. I don't dislike short fiction, but this one left me wishing it had been expanded into a full novel where we could have seen how things continued to progress. The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davison, 3 stars. In 1980s Niagara Falls, 12-year-old Jake and his friends form a ghost hunting club under the guidance of his eccentric uncle. Their adventures start as fun urban legend chases, but soon uncover darker truths about family and memory. I expected this to be more supernatural, but it's really more a coming-of-age story with some spooky framing. Some parts really worked for me, others didn't. Overall, again, fine. Just not really quite what I thought it would be. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid, 4 stars. A dark retelling of Shakespeare's tragedy, Lady Macbeth reimagines the infamous queen's rise to power through Rossel, a woman gifted with dangerous magic who's married off to a Scottish lord. Caught between prophecy, patriarchy, and power, she must decide what kind of ruler and woman she will become. I actually had 2 copies of this book from 2 different book boxes, so I wanted to finally read it and decide if I was keeping one or unhauling both. I'll definitely be keeping one, in particular this copy. I know that reviews have been mixed, but I do tend to enjoy Shakespeare or fairy tale reimaginings. They're often a solid 3 or 4 star read for me. This one was no exception. It was an interesting take that didn't feel like the same type of retelling we've seen before. Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher, 4 stars. This Sleeping Beauty retelling flips the fairy tale on its head. A cursed guardian watches over the tower, protecting the world from what lies inside. It's a quiet, bittersweet, and beautifully written novella about duty, compassion, and monsters, both real and imagined. This is another retelling, but much shorter, and that actually worked perfectly for it. Sometimes these kind of stories stretch too far when they're full novels, but this length felt just right. It handled the who's good, who's bad theme well without dragging it out. Thoughtful and beautifully written. Small Town Big Magic by Hazel Beck, 3 stars. Emerson Wild runs a bookstore in St. Cyprian and is focused on revitalizing her small Midwestern town until she discovers that magic is real and she might be part of a coven herself. Between hidden witches, enemies to lovers, tension, and town secrets, she has to learn who she really is. This had so much potential, but it didn't quite hit the mark for me. The characters felt a little underdeveloped and repetitive at times. The ending clearly set up for the next book, and while I'm somewhat curious, I'm not sure I'll continue. Again, a big theme this month with books and series. Next is How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, 4 stars. In 1965, 17-year-old Frances Adams visits a fortune teller who predicts she will one day be murdered. Decades later, she's found dead, and her great-niece Annie has one summer to solve the mystery or lose her inheritance. The story weaves between past and present as secrets unravel. This is exactly the kind of mystery I enjoy. It didn't quite live up to the Knives Out comparison I kept seeing, but it was still a fun, twisty ride. My ratings often depend on whether a book meets what I expect from its genre, and this definitely did. It delivered a solid mystery and kept me entertained the whole way through. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, 4 stars. Jet Mason, who's 27 years old, suffers a brain injury during a violent attack and is given only 7 days to live. Instead of waiting for the end, she decides to spend her final days solving her own murder, digging into secrets and betrayals in her privileged circle. I've liked Holly Jackson's young adult books, and I've enjoyed seeing her step into adult fiction here. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but even though the premise tells you her fate up front, I found myself hoping for a twist. It was fast-paced, clever, and just a fun read. And finally for this month, The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark, 4 months, and ending on another Book of the Month read. This book was told across dual timelines. It follows Olivia, who has spent her life hiding the fact that she is her father's daughter, and is now ghostwriting his book, trying to finally uncover the secrets of a decades-old murder mystery. This one kept me guessing the whole time. I loved the alternating timelines and shifting perspectives, and I kept changing my mind about what really happened. It was a great way to wrap up the month and a Book of the Month pick that I enjoyed. So that's all 13 books I read in October. Overall, it was a pretty balanced month. Lots of 3 and 4 star reads with a few standouts in there. It felt great to focus only on my physical TBR for once, especially knocking out a few more Book of the Month picks that had been sitting on my shelves for way too long, as well as books that I have multiple copies of from book boxes. Let me know in the comments what your favorite spooky or seasonal read was this month, or if you've read any of these. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back with more book and craft videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.